Thank you so much, Milind, for joining us on a podcast at Dawdle. Extremely grateful that you took out time to share your insights and experiences with our global audience. We have got some very good set of topics to discuss with you. But before we go there, it would be great if you could take us to your journey so far to give a context to our audience.
First of all, thanks a lot, Rishikesh, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. So grateful and a lot of gratitude to you. And hello everyone. My name is Milind Jadhav. I'm the founder and CEO of Obion Steps. And this particular episode, I believe, is the future of talent intelligence. Over the past 2 decades, I've seen recruitment evolve from paper resumes and manual interviews to predictive analytics, right? So AI driven insight design, 18 plus years of experience into talent acquisition. And I have been working with different MNCs and IT organizations, specifically like Sama Technologies, which is a data analytics and data science company. And the last organization I worked was Vandalanda Industries, which is a Toyota company. And I was taking care of India technology hiring as a group manager. Thanks a lot for inviting me, and it's absolutely a privilege.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Milind. You have seen recruitment evolve from manual hiring to analytics driven workforce planning these days. How has the talent acquisition space transformed over the last 15 years, especially across sectors like technology, healthcare, and analytics?
It's a very nice question, Rishikesh. When I look back 15 years, talent acquisition was largely very transactional, filling positions and managing volumes and tracking metrics. But today, recruitment is more of a strategic enabler, I would say. It's not about just hiring people, it's about building capabilities that drive future growth of the organization. The cultural fitment of the candidate is absolutely been taken care of and creating a win-win situation for the aspiring candidate as well as the employer. Across sectors like technology and healthcare and analytics, we have seen recruitment evolve from instinct based decisions to insight based intelligence, because the candidates are also looking forward for good projects, good work, good role, and how they can add in value with their skills, what they're bringing on the table. So, in data and AI driven organizations, one of the key challenges have always been balance and quality, especially when hiring for initial like some cloud or DevOps. So the approach has always been about building data-led recruitment ecosystems, using analytics to identify talent pipelines early or understanding project demands in advance and empowering recruiters with insights and not just tools. There have been a huge transformation for last 15 years. Earlier, that was a term called as recruitment, and now it is more of talent acquisition, where you should be specialized into end-to-end recruitment, starting from the sourcing till the onboarding.
Thank you so much, Milind, for this insight. And you have managed large scale hiring for data and AI driven organizations, as you just mentioned. So, how do you balance speed with the quality of hire, especially in niche roles like data science, cloud, DevOps, where talent supply is limited?
A talent supply is definitely limited, or we can say that the quality of the candidate is absolutely checked by the employers. But in like in Sama Technologies, let's say, it wasn't just a department, it was a culture. And we used data not just to report but to predict. And with the recent predictive workforce planning, intelligence platforms which integrates like ATS or CRMs and skill ontologies, we are finally seeing a lot of unified view of talent, checking the aspirations of the candidates as well, and using different portfolios or job portals like Naukri or LinkedIn Premiums or LinkedIn Insights, as well as employee referrals. We have to use different kind of strategies to manage the speed as well as the quality of the candidate. In India, you know that it is generally a 60 days notice period or a 90 days notice period, but companies and organizations are not ready to wait for these many days because there was a huge chance of backing out of the candidate. So people looking out for who are serving notice periods, people are looking for freelancing work, or people who are serving notice period and ready to join immediately. We used to look that people who can manage their leaves and join a bit early, talk to their managers and join early. These kind of candidates we used to look out for and used to manage the speed accordingly.
And what are the biggest challenges when it comes to building a very high performance recruitment ecosystem at a scale? And how did digital tools and process automation help address that?
A challenge is to build a good ecosystem is absolutely very critical. Actually, the major challenges which I faced was it's never about tools or technology. It's about creating the right blend of people, process, and platform within the organization. So over the years, I realized that I would say there were five major challenges in building a high performance talent ecosystem that truly scales. Is one is lack of integration across systems, because recruitment system and then other ATS systems, and when we integrate that with the projects, exactly right. So most organizations have fragmented systems like an ATS for recruitment, a separate LMS for learning, and another for performance evaluations, etc. That is the biggest challenge what I faced in connecting the dots. When systems don't talk to each other, you lose visibility into the talent flow, right, from hiring to growth. Second is balancing speed with the quality. In fast moving markets, hiring speed is often mistaken for success. If speed compromises the quality, you and end up paying the price in performance, right? If the candidate is not matching exactly to the job description as well as the expectation on the skill side, performance side, then you may face the attrition issues. So balancing speed with quality was another issue. Then a recruiter capability and mindset shift also, because the market is changing, the market is very volatile. So even the best technology fails if the people using it aren't ready with it. So recruiters today must move from being very transactional to consultative, because this is the major challenge which even I'm facing right now as I'm counseling and doing mentorship for a lot of experienced talent acquisition professionals, that they're very transactional in their conversation with the candidate, which should not be there. It should be very consultative. It should be very understanding the exact aspirations of the particular candidate who is looking out for a job, who's opting for a job. That means understanding business needs, interpreting data, and building relationships. It's and not just like processing resumes. Another point was process consistency across skills. Like when you're hiring across multiple geographies or functions, maintaining consistency becomes very tough. So every team interprets best practice differently. The key is to standardize the process without killing the flexibility of it. You have to be really flexible in the processes, where ultimately onboarding is the key. So clear frameworks, quality checkpoints, and automation can really help maintain quality control, allowing teams to adapt.
Got it.
Is data governance and ethics. So as we rely more on AI and digital tools, and data security and compliance becomes a little bit more challenging for the recruiters. You can have high performance ecosystem without the trust. Both the candidates and the stakeholders needs to have build the trust. Means ensuring the data privacy and the audit trails and ethical use of AI are built.
Coming to your previous experiences, so at organizations like Sama, so analytics played a major role in decision making. So how do you see AI and predictive analytics transforming workforce planning from demand forecasting to attrition risk prediction?
That's a very, very nice question. At organizations like Sama, predictive workforce planning and talent intelligence platforms, they have to be really integrating with each other. But how do we handle the attrition is a very critical question, because that is the challenge which is faced by most of the organizations these days, and keeping up the expectations of the candidates as well. So attrition is, I will just explain what attrition is. Attrition isn't about just people leaving an organization. It is a reflection of how the organization is functioning at its core. Every exit is a data point. Actually, every pattern tells a story. And if the management is really keen and observant related to why the attrition is happening and why people are leaving, then we can definitely address it. So it can be like the leadership disconnect, when employees feel that their leaders aren't that engaged or transparent or inspiring, or motivation lack. And career stagnation is another reason, that absence of growth, visibility, skill building opportunities given by the organization for the employees often pushes people to look outside. One of the critical thing which I've observed is also a cultural misalignment. When even high performing team talent leaves when their values don't align with the organization's evolving culture. Organizations are growing, but everyone has their own values. If that is not aligned with the vision and mission of the organization, then that can definitely create a gap, and people may look outside. And compensation imbalance, again, it's rarely the first reason people to quit, but often it's a like final trigger. So how organization can predict attrition is where the talent and intelligence and predictive analytics comes in the picture, and it actually changes the game. So HR has to have an early warning system, something like that. It doesn't label people, but it helps leader to take preventive actions by re-engaging with the employees, providing learning paths, or even having meaningful conversations before it's too late with the employees. At Sama, for example, analytics helped us to correlate engagement data with turnover, revealing hidden drivers. And sometimes it wasn't just pay or a workload, but a manager behavior or lack of recognitions, rewards, recognitions, etc. So we used all these strategies to make sure that we are taking care, or the attrition is within the control.
How can data unify talent acquisition, performance, and learning into one cohesive ecosystem?
Into one cohesive system. So it'll take a little bit more time to answer this particular question. But talent intelligence platform sits right at the intersection of technology and analytics and people strategy. Exactly, what area of expertise in a way I have. For years we've managed people data in silos. So recruitment data is in the ATS, or performance data is in HRMS, and learning data is in LMS. Each of them tells a different story, and it is very separate what the stories are. The real transformation begins when their stories connect, when we can see the entire talent journey as one continuous experience powered by intelligence, right? So the talent intelligence platforms acts as a central nervous systems for the organizations or people's ecosystem. It brings together the data from ATS or CRMs, so what skills we are hiring, from where, and how effectively we are doing. Performance systems are how talent is performing and adding value to the business. And learning and development tools like LMS, what skills they're building in and where the future gaps are, because we do have a rolling projection meetings within the organization in the management, like what kind of projects are coming in, what tools and technologies are needed, what expertise do we exactly need. So this data together we need to collate. How this data actually creates a unified view of talent is when all this data is connected, we start to see that talent is not isolated profiles but as evolving skill identities. Imagine this, that you can trace a candidate's journey from their first interview to their onboarding to their performance trajectory to their next learning milestone. The kind of visibility allows us to answer these strategic questions like which sourcing channels give us long term performers, what learning interventions actually prove retention, which managers or teams have the highest talent velocity. That's the true power of unified talent intelligence. Connects hiring success with the performance outcomes. So when the data is unified, HR stops being very reactive and becomes very responsive. We move from reporting metrics to advising business strategy. For example, if the system predicts that our data engineering talent will be 30% short in the next 6 months, then HR can proactively redesign hiring plans, reskill the internal talent, or build partnership in advance with the external third party, whoever our expertise into it, so that we can mitigate this particular issue of hiring people not joining on time, or the kind of people we are coming in are not that quality people. So this transformation workforce planning is into living dynamic process, not an annual exercise.
Got it. This is nice. And how can generative AI redefine recruiter productivity in terms of automating outreach or writing a personalized job description or analyzing skill gaps?
Generative AI is absolutely playing a very critical role, but it's just not the buzzword anymore. It's becoming very genuine productivity partners for recruiters in a way. And I like to say this often that AI won't replace the recruiters, but recruiters who understands AI will replace those who don't. Human resource, it is human resource. We need to have empathy. We need to have emotions, right? AI really cannot bring that, but definitely on the data analytics part of it and the predictive analysis part of it, definitely the data or AI plays a very crucial role. Let's be honest. A large part of recruitment time still goes into repetitive, low value tasks like writing the job description and sending outreach messages, formatting the resumes, or scheduling the interviews, etc. Generative AI is redefining this by automating the mundane. Okay. So recruiters can focus on what truly matters, engaging talent and understanding the business needs and building the trust. Imagine this, that instead of spending 3 hours drafting a role description or a job description, AI can generate it in 30 seconds, perfectly tailored to the tone, seniority, skill requirements. One of my acquaintance has actually built one AI right now, which can call the first screening call, which generally a recruiter does. It can call to 1 lakh candidates at one shot. So all the data of screening questions like years of experience or CTC, expected CTC, notice period, expertise into that particular skills, all data is gathered within seconds and shared it with the recruiter, and the recruiter now knows that which candidate I need to call, because that is definitely needed as a speed which is expected from the recruiter. How fast do you submit and how fast you can align the interviews. So AI will be definitely killing the entry level jobs, but generative AI, through that, if a recruiter can understand it and properly utilize it, definitely can add in its performance. One of the biggest challenges in recruitment has always been personalizations also. You can't send 200 candidates the same email and expect meaningful response. Generative AI changes that completely and craft personalized outreach messages based on the candidate's experience, skills, and even past interactions at scale. They has that data saved. It's like giving every recruiter a digital assistant that understands tone, empathy, and brand voice. The smarter way of job skill matching, advanced language models. AI can now analyze the job descriptions, resumes, skill taxonomies, and to identify matches that human might overlook, but it can spot adjacent skills. For example, someone with NLP experience could transition to generative AI roles with minimal upscaling. So this is how it can be taken care, I believe.
This is very useful. And given your experience across tech-heavy firms, what role do skill-based frameworks and internal mobility platform play in bridging the talent gap, especially when you see the roles are evolving faster than the academic curriculum?
Okay. Uh, this particular question is very broad, to be very frank. This internal mobility platform playing with the bridging the gap between the expectations of the organizations. It's a very relevant question also, especially in today's landscape where job roles are very evolving faster than ever before. We had not seen last, you know, 10 years before the kind of pace of market evolving. But in last 5 years, 6 years, the market has really been evolving faster. And in tech heavy environments, skill based frameworks and internal mobility platform act as a backbone for the workforce agility. Traditionally, organization looked at roles. Now they're looking at skills as the new currency of work. It is not only about the experience level what you're coming up with. It's more important that what kind of skills do you have, and is it really matched with the expectations of the employer, because even the employer is expecting fast results. There is sometimes a deadline, project deadline, as a huge pressure. Sometimes you have to work on weekends as well. But if you have the right skills, and if you know how to utilize the right platforms or tools and technologies, and the speed definitely matters. When this is implemented effectively, these frameworks help companies map the skills inventory across the organizations. Who knows that at what proficiency level and where the gaps lie? This allows leader to make data driven decisions on whether to build, borrow, or buy talent. Internal mobility platform that translates this insight into action. They provide visibility to employees on career pathways and learning opportunities and open role aligned to their skill sets, which encourages retention and engagement activities with the employees.
Got it. And how should enterprises re-architect their talent supply chain from campus programs and gig networks to global hiring hubs to stay resilient in a very volatile hiring market?
This actually enterprises, it depends from the enterprise to enterprise, because every organization or every company has their own different level of set of expectations, different level of growth path, roadmap, projects, etc. But in today's environment where business priorities, technologies, and workforce expectations all are changing simultaneously, to stay resilient, enterprises need to rethink their entire talent supply chain, from how they attract talent to how do they develop and deploy and retain them. The traditional linear hiring model no longer works in a volatile market. Okay? And what organization need now is a fluid, intelligence-driven architecture that adapts in real time. So there are key shifts, which I see successful companies are making, like move from role-based to skill-based planning. Instead of hiring job titles, firms are defining work through skills and the capabilities what they are bringing in. This makes the workforce more agile and allows faster redeployment when business priorities shift. Build a hybrid talent ecosystem. Resilient talent model builds full-time employees, gig professionals, and automation and global hubs. This gives companies flexibility to scaling up or down based on the project demand. Invest in continuous learning and internal mobility. That is the key factor, because this is the best way to reduce the dependency on external hiring, is to grow the team within that. These successful companies are taking a lot of good actions towards that, like boot camp trainings or fresher hiring maybe, or internal development. When learning, performance, and opportunity platforms are connected, employees can pivot quickly to new roles and leverage AI for real-time talent intelligence. Predictive analytics can forecast demand, identify skill gaps, and even anticipate attrition, helping leaders make proactive decisions rather than reactive ones, and create cross-border talent resilience. When hybrid and borderless work becomes the norm, global hiring hubs allow access to diverse skills while mitigating the geographic risk, is what I feel.
Got it. And with your with your tenure in companies like Wonderland and Nihilant, how do you see automation and robotics changing recruitment within manufacturing, supply chain, and industrial tech sectors?
A lot. I mean, talk about Vandalanda automation robotics is changing the hiring pattern, and the expectations also are very different. The kind of expectations, because it is all about robotics and automation, the expectations from the employees are, it's how do you cope up to the latest version of the technology, as well as how you can bring in value, as well as the customer satisfaction, because the customer satisfactions are changing, because we are dealing with a Germany client, or we are dealing with a UK client or a US client. Earlier the recruitment in manufacturing or supply chain was largely focused on operational efficiency, the roles around production and logistics and equipment management. But as robotics and automation have taken the center stage, the talent demand has shifted sharply towards mechatronics and industrial IoT and robotics integration, control systems, data analytics, etc. Recruiters now need to speak the language of technology. They should not only speak about only a basic stuff, but the more intelligent conversation a recruiter is having with the candidate, it
Yes.
is always better. The hiring lens has expanded from hands-on machinery to hands-on data. At Vandalanda, for example, we began to see hybrid roles, like professional who understood both mechanical and software automation. This intersectional skills set became very crucial and changed how we sourced, assessed, and engaged candidates. Like automation have transformed recruitment operation themselves through AI driven sourcing tools and robotics. Process automation is in background checks and onboarding and predictive analysis to forecast skills needs in the way we used to hire for warehouse automation or baggage handling systems. This was the major thing for which we used to hire, and this was a deployment center. Pune was a deployment center, and they used to support the head office Netherlands, as well as in the other countries. So it's not just about the automation is changing the roles, it's changing the recruiters also, the way, the process, the mindset, the way we assess, the way we evaluate, the way we talk or have conversation with the candidates.
Got it. And you have handled both the US as well as the India markets. So, how complex is to manage regulatory and employment, in both these geographies? And how are data privacy laws like GDPR, DPDPA reshaping how organizations store, process, and share candidates' data?
It's been a long time that I've worked into US recruitment, to be very frank. It's been more than 10, 12 years now. And I'm very sure it has changed a little bit. But let me try and throw some light on it, whatever my experience is and my knowledge is. I may be wrong in some of the points. But In the organizational globalize, the complexity of compliance and data privacy and cross-border employment are becoming as important as talent. In both US and India, we are witnessing a major shift, right? From treating candidates' data as a recruitment asset to treating it as a regulated responsibility. Candidates who are sharing their personal information should be taken care of. And laws like GDPR in Europe and DPDPA in India have completely redefined how we collect, store, and process personal information. And that has been, this regulatory has been very compulsory for recruiters right now, that we are not breaching the personal information of the candidates. Earlier, it was very common to have large candidate database shared across teams or geographies. Now, the organization needs to ensure explicit consent and limited purpose access, right? Complete transparency is how data is used. Even something as simple as sharing a resume across regions requires compliance validation and secure systems. In Vandalanda, we do had a legal team, so we were very particular about the data privacy, and we are taking care and within the regulatory we're performing. So this has made data governance as a strategic pillar for recruitment operations. ATS and CRM platforms are now being integrated with privacy by design architecture. We do have techno-functional consultants within the team who are taking care of these privacy information of the candidates, where candidates data is encrypted, it's anonymized and automatically purged after specific retention periods. In global roles like mine, managing both US and India operations, the biggest learning has been that the privacy and compliance has can no longer be an afterthought. They must be embedded into every stage from sourcing to onboarding.
This is very useful, and there are a lot of tools which are also helping in this, na? Like a lot of tools has come up, a lot of platforms who are helping manage different geographies, compliances, and all those things.
Yes. So every a bigger organization like Vandalanda or Sama Technologies are using tools like we were using Workday as an ATS system. So that is absolutely efficient, and globally it is used. Managing compliance today isn't just about policies, and it's about having the right technology infrastructure to support these policies also. So Workday is there, SAP Success Factor is there, Greenhouse is there, Smart Recruiters is there. So every company, based on their budget, based on their requirement, they always use this whenever you're working across geographies, and ideally you have to use it.
This is nice. And with all this hybrid and borderless workforce, how do you see geographic flexibility and data localization influencing hiring and HR tech strategies?
See, what happens is when you're working across geographies, there are specific recruiters from that particular locations as well, right? It's a very transformative shifts we have seen in the last few years. It's rise of truly borderless workforce, which is absolutely very good for the organization. And the pandemic accelerated hybrid work, but what if it really did was prove to the talent doesn't need to sit in the same geography to create a value.
Yes.
As companies started hiring globally too, parallel realities emerged. On one hand, geographic flexibility gave organization access to diverse, high quality talent pools across continents. Right? On the other hand, data localization and cross border compliance brought new layers of complexity, particularly around how employees and candidate data is stored, transferred, and processed. So, localized infrastructure for compliance is very important. Unified yet distributed HR tech architectures is required, and remote first hiring models have emerged. Like global organizations are designing roles around outcomes and not restricted to a locations, right? Using hybrid frameworks that blend core in office collaboration hubs with more remote global contributors. So, this is what it is.
And finally, the question is about, what does a recruitment organization of the future looks like as per you?
Recruitment organization is your meaning staffing
Yes,
companies.
yes. Or anything related to recruitment in the future, how does it look like? Will it be something which blends AI, human empathy, data-led intelligence?
I may not be the right person to predict it because the market is so volatile that after every 6 months and 1 year the entire ecosystem is changing and the pattern is changing. But yeah, according to me, recruiters will have real-time insights on talent supply, skill gaps, and candidate readiness. Again, I would like to reiterate the same point that rather than being very transactional, the more consultative you are, the more you are ready to have a very good screening call with the candidates and understand their aspirations. Are their aspirations are met with the company's expectation is very critical. Hyper personalized candidate experience, and every candidate interaction will be tailored in the future. AI will handle the entire administrative and communication tasks, while human focus will be more on relationship building, creating an empathy. Think of it as an automation enabling human connection, which will not be replaced, is what I feel. Skills first and agile workforce planning will be the future, is what I feel. That future requirement organization will prioritize skills over titles, which has already started in a way. We are prioritizing the skills more rather than experience or titles. Internal mobility platforms, learning tools, and predictive analytics will allow talent to move seamlessly within the organizations, reducing very hiring bottlenecks and bridging the skill gaps proactively. And recruiters will be more of a strategic architects, is what I feel. The role of recruiter will shift from a transactional execution to a strategic advisory, which is in a way already started, guiding business leaders on talent strategy. They are having a very good connection with the hiring managers and the stakeholders, and leveraging insights over AI and analytics, designing workforce plans that are resilient, diverse, and future ready. So my closing thought would be on this is that the recruitment organization of the future is intelligent, empathetic, and very adaptive. It's where AI meets human judgment, data meets the emotion, and every hiring decision is strategically aligned with the business outcomes. In short, it's not about filling roles anymore. It's about building the organization of tomorrow, one human and one insight at a time.
And also, Milind, we would also like to know that what are you doing right now? How are you helping the industry right now? If you could, talk about that for our audience.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot. So I have left Wonderland and I started my own organization as Obion Steps, like I mentioned in the start. So what I do is I'm helping the HR professionals, experienced HR professionals to grow, experienced as HR professionals to upscale in their life, because I feel more gurus and more mentors are needed in HR also, because after a period of time, we don't know what to do. We're doing recruitment, but we're doing recruitment for 15 years, but we have not got an experience and exposure towards employee engagement activities or onboarding challenges, what going through, or audits or compliances, SOPs, process improvements, how to improve the offer to joining ratio, how to get into a strategic role, you know. So let's say they want to shift from recruitment to HR business partner.
Yes.
HR business partner wants to get into a TA, because these days only TA will not work. They need to have versatile skills. So that is what I'm doing. I'm grooming. I'm trying to help with whatever knowledge, experience I have with them, and I can see I've seen good transformations coming in within, as soon as you give them the right track, right path. They're doing it very nice, and that is how I am able to bring a transformation within the society for HR professionals. A bit of my side.
That's a superb job, and I completely relate to this. Like after a point of time, especially the senior HRs, who are there inside the organization, they need such kind of guidance, and they need to identify which track they are going to take. And kudos to you, Milan, that you have been, doing it after leaving the organization, and will surely want more and more HR leaders, come in touch with you for that guidance that you have been providing. Thanks a lot for joining us, Milan. Extremely grateful to be hosting you, and thank you so much for taking our time.
Thanks a lot, Rishikesh. The questions were really insightful. The questions were really amazing. I hope the answers were will be helping out the other HR professionals too. It was absolutely a privilege to be on this particular platform, and thanks a lot again for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Milan. Thanks.
You're welcome. My pleasure.